I never intended on becoming a feral cat caretaker. I love cats, of course, and have always had cats growing up, but this was not something that I had on my radar at all. When we decided to build a house in the New Orleans neighborhood of Gentilly, I would have never dreamed that this would also become the home of a dozen feral cats, too. Although there were signs that we were the ones who were actually moving into a thriving feral cat neighborhood. All of this began with my elderly cat, Lulubelle. Since her kittenhood, she was always a bit feral herself, preferring to live both indoors and outdoors. She was 15 years old when we moved, and we had decided to keep her indoors at least for a little while. Unfortunately, though, one evening she got out through a half open window and vanished for months. So sick with worry, we plastered flyers everywhere month after month with little to no leads. I was completely devastated and felt like I had failed her. Then we got a lucky break. Our neighbor, 6 or 7 houses down, contacted me saying, I know this cat. I feed her sometimes. She's living with a feral colony across the street. We set up a trap, and after many failed attempts, we finally caught her. I was overjoyed to have her back and vowed to never let her outdoors again. Lulu seemed to be perfectly content staying indoors. The weird thing was that random cats would come and just stare at the house. I assumed that these ferals were her comrades while she was missing, keeping her safe and taking care of her. It was really sweet to see them come and presumably check on her. One night, Lulu Bell had a seizure and passed away at the age of 16 with both of us by her side. I was so grief stricken by her loss, as I had had her since she could fit in my palm as a kitten. While grieving the loss of Lulu, her feral friends still kept showing up at the house, just staring. Since Lulubelle had food left over, I decided to give it to them as a thank you for taking good care of her all those months ago. And so it began our feral cat caretaker journey. Life is not easy being a feral cat. In fact, the mortality rate of feral kittens is alarmingly high, with most dying within the first few weeks of life. Estimates vary slightly, but feral cats can breed over and over again if the colony is not managed or cared for. An unaltered female with a lifespan of 2 to 8 years can become pregnant as early as 4 to 5 months old. They can produce 2 to 3 litters each year during her lifespan. Some statistics even say 4 litters. Without spay and neuter programs for feral cats, each female can produce up to 200 kittens during her lifetime. The truth is that the well-being of feral cats is most compromised by behaviors associated with mating and giving birth to endless litters of kittens. Spaying and neutering significantly changes this picture. Male cats no longer fight and roam, female cats no longer bear kittens. This leads to feral cats frequently living up to 10 years or longer, with them having the same rates of disease as pet or domesticated cats. Once a feral cat is spayed or neutered, oftentimes humans mistake this as an opportunity to bring them indoors and to domesticate them. Even if you have fed a feral cat for a long time and they have come to trust you in an outdoor setting, they will lose trust when confined and it may never be regained. Being forced into a house or other structure can be the most frightening experience possible for a feral cat. The stress of such confinement can harm the cat's physical and mental health. A feral cat's home is where he's spent their entire life. Feral cats form strong bonds with one another and with their home territory, bonds that define their daily existence. It may be difficult for humans to accept that, despite the strong human-animal bond you have formed with the cats. Their animal-animal bonds and animal territory bonds are much stronger and more relevant to their well-being. They are content outdoors. Over the years, I've learned so much about feral cats through our colony. Once we were able to get our frequent flyers spayed and neutered, I noticed how peacefully they lived together, often giving each other head bumps to show their respect and affection. They share their food effortlessly, always leaving a little left over for others to have a meal. That includes a possum or two. They love to lay around the porch in the shade, and they go bananas over catnip. They have their own unique personalities and appear to subscribe to a hierarchy within the colony. We have a colony leader, both out front and out back, that act as liaisons between us and the rest of the ferals. Figaro. He is the definition of a benevolent leader. He is sweet and kind to everyone, always opting to go the passive route. I love how he jogs up the stairs when it's mealtime. He is absolutely never tardy for breakfast or dinner, often appearing at least 30 minutes ahead of schedule. A true gentleman and loved and adored by all. Roderick. Roderick comes along every other morning or so. He loves a good chat before eating his breakfast. He patiently waits his turn to eat and then just goes about his daily errands. Squirt, aka Smalls. Smalls is a bit rough around the edges. He's quite sassy, as you can probably surmise by the photo. He is the reason why we can't have catnip planted outside for them, because he'll pull it out from the root in less than 24 hours. Everyone loves him anyway. Iris and Carlotta. Iris and Carlotta are sisters. Iris is very regal and a bit shy, but is so loving to her colony members. She loves to give everyone affection and is 100% in love with Figaro. Carlotta is more of a shrinking violet. She loves to be both mysterious and yet a little glamorous. Both are well liked by all of the colony. Elvis. Elvis is the newest member of our colony. He used to actually terrorize our colony until he was trapped, fixed, and released. He did not handle it too well at first, meowing and crying all of the time. Figaro was a great support to him during those early days. He has now settled in quite nicely and loves to lounge on the porch all of the time, regularly 4 hours early for meals and taking up all of the space on the porch pillows. Elmira. Elmira is the backdoor princess and is the undisputed leader of the backyard. For many years, she was very skittish with us, but one day she made up her mind that she wanted to be friends and to take leadership of the back porch. She is the only one of the ferals that likes to be pet. So much so that she expects a good pet session at least twice a day, preferably after her meal. She is very loving, but she is not one to be cross. She prefers to be a loner, even though she did befriend our elderly dog that had gone blind in her final year. She is our secret favorite. Our healthy and happy colony would not be possible without the help of trap and release volunteers through our local nonprofit, Trap That Cat. According to their website, TNR is the most humane and effective method known for managing feral and stray cats and reducing their numbers. The cats, who typically live together in a group called a colony, are trapped and brought to a veterinary clinic. They're then spayed or neutered, vaccinated, and ear-tipped. After they've recovered from their surgeries, the cats are returned back to their original territory, where a caretaker provides regular food and shelter. If you're in need of a local trap and release program or would like to volunteer and you're not sure where to turn, you can always contact a local veterinarian, the ASPCA, or you can visit unitedspayalliance.org and search for the nearest trap and release program using your state and zip code. One more point should be made before moving on. According to alleycat.org, more than 80% of Americans believe that it is more humane to leave a cat outside than to have her caught and killed. Unfortunately, many people don't realize that this is exactly what's going on in feral cat communities all across the United States. Though trap and release programs are practiced all over the country in hundreds of forward-thinking communities, catch and kill for feral cats is still the status quo in many cities. As the paradigm shifts to the life-saving TNR approach, America's humane ethic is finally being reflected in the animal control policies. So you can do your part to support organizations like this. If you can't take care of a feral colony, then you can always donate to these nonprofits that help to trap and release feral cats in your local community. Once your feral cats are spayed and neutered, the colony is pretty self-sufficient. Aside from having a regular feeding schedule, one needs to consider preventative measures for fleas, ticks, mosquitoes in the warmer months, and outdoor shelters for the colder months. I prefer to use environmentally friendly products with all natural ingredients as best as I can. During the warmer months, I give our ferals GCP's all-natural flea, tick, and mosquito chews. These are relatively inexpensive and can be crumbled up on top of their food or given as a treat. Ours love them. I also regularly spray our yard and porches with Wondercide. Also inexpensive, it is an all-natural flea, mosquito, and tick preventative that is safe for pets and children. For immune system support, I sprinkle Doggy Naturals lysine oral powder for cats on their food. The cats seem to really enjoy the flavor. During the winter months, it is best to set up a shelter that is warm and secure. We have utilized Rubbermaid tubs and lined them with an insulator. Hay is a great and affordable option. Our Elmira has had her own personal shelter on the back porch, and she gets the luxury of having a heating pad. If you want to splurge on your colony, Amazon has many heated cat shelters. There is a hefty shipping fee, but if you buy it during the summer months, you can get them at a reasonable price. Caring for a feral colony can be a very rewarding undertaking. They bring a lot of joy to your day-to-day life, and you have the pleasure of knowing that you have helped a being have a slightly better existence. They even occasionally bring you tokens of their gratitude. A disemboweled rat, bird, squirrel, or even lizard can be waiting for you in the morning. Even though it can be challenging at times, you do not have to go it alone. There are many others in your local community with the same mission and local nonprofits ready to assist. Again, if you can't take on a colony, a donation can go a long way with helping to care for this vulnerable population. As I said in the beginning, I would have never thought in a million years that I would be caring for a large number of ferals. But now, I can't see myself not doing it.